Western Lights by C.P. Schaefer. Narrated by Maria Marquis. This audiobook includes a preview of C.P. Schaefer's The Kuiper Rogue, narrated by Maria Marquis. For Mom. Prologue. The first incident. National Petroleum Reserve, Alaska. In the near future.
What exactly is this?
The co-pilot asked. He held the mouthpiece tight in hand to get above the roar of the plane's engine.
Nothing natural can register these readings. Have you ever seen this before?
He turned to the pilot, who was still dumbfounded, gazing at the Arctic skyline in front of them. Whatever it was, they were close to it, and it seemed to come out of nowhere. The Aurora appeared to be on fire, ignited by something. The usual slow, silent watercolor appearance had lightning overlays with bursts of new color. The pilot instinctively pulled down and away from the atmospheric disturbance. The lights reached downward, finger-like, toward the ground with crackling light rippling along their lengths. They were only a mile or two from the strange phenomenon when the pilot brought the plane into a circular pattern around the cyclone shape forming before them.
I can honestly say, the pilot said, I've never seen anything like this before. Here, use my phone to take video.
Then, as quickly as it came, the phenomenon disappeared. Without a sound, without a flash, as if a light switch turned off. The aurora was back to normal, as were the readings on the compass and magnetometer, but a significant circular impression remained on the ground with discolored vegetation.
There's a good spot, he pointed. That small lake over there.
We're landing? The co-pilot asked, afraid, still shaking from what he had just seen.
Don't worry, Ethan grinned. I do this all the time.
The plane glided in and slowly dropped onto the calm Arctic lake. As the plane's pontoon splashed through the water, Ethan reversed engines and coasted the aircraft to the shoreline. The two men popped off their headsets, unbuckled, and stepped out on the pontoons. Jumping onto a muddy bank, they hiked a short way through the grassy tundra. When they reached the trampled grass line, Ethan bent over and rubbed the grass between his fingers.
Looks wilted, like old lettuce, he said.
Then the co-pilot bent down and pulled some grass.
It's dead, John said. All of it.
They looked in all directions. Nothing bright green. All vegetation was the pale green color of seaweed.
John, look here,
Ethan said, pointing at water puddles left by their footprints.
The water is bubbling.
Ethan pulled off his glove and touched the water.
No heat, he marveled. But it appears to be boiling. It must be gas, a natural gas emission.
Do you think that killed the grasses? John asked. Ethan did not respond, taking in the dead zone's size.
I don't think we should stay here any longer, he warned.
The two quickly made for the plane. At the water's edge, they noticed the same condition. Water bubbling all along the bank. They studied it momentarily, then hopped into the plane. Ethan fired up the engine and taxied out across the water.
The whole lake is bubbling,
John exclaimed. The plane accelerated, skipped across the water, and lifted to the sky.
Did you get those coordinates? Ethan asked. That has to be investigated further.
Ethan Seitz was a recent college graduate, skinny, dark-haired with glasses, and an ever-changing expression on his face. Still growing out of teenage insecurities, he often found himself with a lowered head in social situations. But on technical topics, he was outgoing and talkative. He grew up in Boulder, Colorado, home of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. He interned as an undergraduate and was now on permanent assignment in Alaska, studying polar anomalies. The magnetic poles have always moved, like the axis of a gyroscope. But now, it was moving faster than ever, so the administration decided to put a surveillance crew in the air to check for anything unusual. Ethan had the equipment to track magnetic field changes, barometric pressure, temperature, aurora patterns, and electrical disturbances. Working the tundra was a challenging, sometimes monotonous effort. 9 months out of the year, it was dark and frozen. The other 3 were
Sample complete. Ready to continue?